Well, Donald Trump is leading in the betting markets. We've got Kamala Harris getting busted with a teleprompter at a town hall with staffers in the crowd. We've got Kamala Harris rigging aircraft, C-17 aircraft with supplies just for a photo shoot and then never sending out the supplies. Oh, gosh, we've got Elon Musk possibly taking over the world with humanoid robots at his recent release. I mean, this is crazy, y'all. We're going to see video of these things actually having conversations with other people at his recent Tesla launch event. We've got all kinds of stuff to get into. This is going to be a good one. I'm Jared. This is Continue Freedom. And welcome back to Continue Freedom. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. If you're a returning guest, I want to thank you so much for coming back. You know, I truly appreciate you guys that and I have several of you that you come back every single week. We're on our road to 10,000. That's where we're heading next. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Help us get there, because I think it's really going to be great when that happens. Well, 1 million is the ultimate goal, and then we'll move on beyond that. But yeah, for the time being, I'm looking to get to that 10,000 mark, and I need your all's help to get there. So I'm going to play, actually, before we get into all this craziness, I'm going to play just a funny video. Because funny videos, it's good to lighten the mood before you talk about really serious stuff. It's wonderful to see funny videos. And this little kid had me cracking up. He's watching the Rocky movie. We'll play the music. He's got the whole thing memorized. Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to show that one. That one was great. I came across it and I was like, you know what? That's a wholesome one. Before we start talking about some wild politics and, you know, all this mess, it's good to find a little bit of humor out there, and there is plenty of it to be had. So let's go ahead and talk, now that we've seen something funny and something sweet. Let's talk about the nefarious natures. This is probably the most shocking video that I have seen in quite some time. One of the most. I won't say one of the most. But it illuminates the smoke and mirrors that we get in the more establishment type of politics. You know, I've said it over the past several years, well, across my entire lifespan until Donald Trump. Everything seemed very polished and it seemed very professional, and the political back and forth was never as extreme, obviously, as it has been since Donald Trump came on the stage, because Donald Trump was the outsider who they never expected to win. He disrupted the system. He took most of the lobbyists out of the White House. He disrupted the permanent power base in D.C. And now they're trying to get us back to that by telling us that Donald Trump is Hitler, that Donald Trump is evil, that Donald Trump is a fascist, that he's a racist, that he's a bigot, that he's a xenophobe, he's a this, that, and the other, all the little descriptors that they like to put on him. And it's all to try to dissuade us from following a person and being led by a person who's outside of the system they have given us. And Kamala Harris is a mirror image of politics for the past, several decades. And that is that smoke and mirrors, shiny exterior, but nefarious intent, fake. It's just everything is fake, fake, fake. And I'm going to give you several examples. So let's listen to this video first. It's shocking. Oops.
To my Instagram from actual aircraft. And then also from that video, I started getting a lot of messages to my Instagram from actual aircraft commanders, squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala, and they never sent the bird.
Wait a minute, what?
They loaded an entire C-17 full of supplies for the hurricane victims just for Kamala to go there, take a photo, take a video, and they never sent the C-17. It was just
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was a National Guard, North Carolina National Guard unit. That was a 06 that reached out to me. And then I had another.
He reached out to you to tell you that they did a photo op and with the intention of never sending.
Never sending. It was just a photo op. And then also.
Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. Another prime example of this is that Kamala Harris, so this is, aside from that just being an absolute travesty, that is, hey, we've already got this bird loaded up with supplies. We can take it into one of the airports, drop it off, and get it in the hands of the people who can get it out to the people. They aren't worried about that. DC's not worried about that. DC's more worried about getting a good photo op of Kamala Harris, right? Because that's what's really important. And then, I've criticized her delivery and her word salads. I think everybody's probably seen that on the internet. But despite that, she is, I guess it would be despite that, but she gives us word salad answers, right? And yet, here she is, right here, dead center, teleprompters. These word salad answers are being given to her by someone. So this is a case of the blind leading the blind. She never directly answers a question. She never gives any specifics on policy prescriptions. She tries to do it all through emotive, communication and trying to sound deep and try to give you, lots of words and, using 60 words when you could do it in 10. And all that's coming off a teleprompter. Or else she's illiterate and doesn't even know how to read the teleprompter. And then these town halls aren't even real. We don't know who the staffers are. We don't know how many of them they shoved into the crowd, but this is obviously a staffer. Pay attention to the African-American woman right here on this woman's right, our left, right over here. Watch her as Kamala Harris is speaking. Listen to Kamala, but watch this person. Oops.
On a silver tray and filed for bankruptcy 6 times. Most people don't have that access.
How in the world did she know that's exactly what she was going to say?
And filed for bankruptcy 6 times.
Really? One more time.
Like my opponent, who got handed $400 million on a silver tray and filed for bankruptcy 6 times.
Is it one of her speechwriters? Is it just a staffer who helped her with her delivery? These people are out in the crowd. How many of them are there? But this is smoke and mirrors. How many of the people that were asking questions were actual American citizens, and others were, they're all American citizens if they're, but are actual members of society rather than just her staffers? It's a fair question.
That's some serious problems.
These are the college professors, by the way, that are backing her up. This is the cultish mentality. This is the next thing I want to say is that they are giving us smoke and mirrors because they need to keep the cult intact. And they love to say, that's the cult of the left. It's the cult of the left.
Guys are smarter than girls. You got some serious problems. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works. Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
Line them up and shoot them. I will say that most of the men who say, I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris, they're not saying that just because she's a woman. They're saying that because she's incompetent, as we have shown not just partially today, but over the course of all my videos that have highlighted Kamala Harris. She is entirely unfit to lead. And who are the people that are backing her? This is one example of many. We can look at Jeffrey Marsh. Jeffrey Marsh is an influencer for children, by the way. Big time left-wing advocate.
You cut off contact with family members just because they are voting for Donald Trump. Yes. If so far they have not been able or willing to listen to compassion, to listen to kindness, to listen to you.
Compassion, kindness, like the people that won't vote for need to be lined up and shot.
Or even to do their own research and discover that hatred's not the answer, that love and kindness is the answer.
Oh, love and kindness. Like taking people, lining them up and shooting them.
If they are unwilling to change, they must experience consequences.
Oh. And of course, he goes on to say the consequences are, you leaving. You as a child leaving your parents because your parents vote the wrong way. This is what happens when you take God out of society, by the way. That you have to have, everybody looks up to some higher power, and people have replaced God with government. And they see government as the arbiter of what is right and what is wrong. And if you do not vote the right way, i.e. support the right cult leader, or the right religious leader, which in this instance is Kamala Harris as they see it, then you abandon your parents, you leave them behind, and you seek, I don't know what, purity in the arms of the Democrat Party. The same party, by the way, Kamala and Biden, who gave us this, if you need an update from Aurora, the ones that they let 20 million people over the border. What's happening in Aurora, Colorado? People aren't talking about that a whole lot these days. Let's listen to this one.
These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants. And so they've, in fact, have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. And arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing. These gangs.
Okay, so now they're taking over the properties. They are threatening, extorting or coercing, using intimidation with the property management. So the property management steps away completely, and they say, now we're going to collect the rents. So property owners don't have access to their own property, to the money, to their investment. Venezuelan gangs are taking them over. And this is all out of compassion, though. Remember that, everybody. This is all out of compassion. We have to be kind. We have to be sweet. Let in the 20 million people, to include the tens of thousands of recently reported convicted murderers that have come across. Sex offenders. This is compassion. This is what compassion looks like. Compassion is messy, right? How dare you? How dare you say that you need the resources, your own tax dollars, federal assistance? This needs to go to the migrants, not to the people who are suffering from hurricanes. And again, seldom do I post anything from the Breakfast Club, but listen to these guys. They're talking to a guy down in Tampa.
It's a little like rain right now, heavy wind, but I'm going to just keep it a buck, man. This ain't where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to say, y'all right in the middle of it. The eye's hitting Tampa from what the map shows right now.
Man, bro, my heart, bro, is in my ass, bro. I'm scared, man. And then we still recovering from Helene. And it's like, bro, I want to get this off my chest, bro. This government is playing in our faces, man. It don't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. They playing in our faces, bro. You get Ukrainians come over here, they get what they want. You get immigrants come over here, they get what they want. And you got people being denied these FEMA applications that you talking about the other day, Charlamagne. Mm-hmm. People being denied, bro. Mm-hmm. But you getting these migrants coming over here, $10,000 food stamps, bro. Goddamn $5,000 cash stipends, man. Mm. This shit hurting, bro. We finna get ready to damn near die, bro. Mm. A lot of people couldn't afford to evacuate. And this government planning our face, man.
Yeah, of course. Because you're not the priority anymore. The African American community, the black community, I never know which word to say anymore because the activists keep changing it, but whatever it is, whatever term you want to use, they have started to make this massive shift away from the Democrat Party. There's still a lot of strongholds. I mean, but make no mistake. Yeah, I can talk about Chicago Red. Chicago Red is a group of young folks that are out and they are trying to flip Chicago, and they're making massive, massive headway, and it's awesome. They are out there pounding the pavement, talking to people. So shout out to Chicago Red for that. But there's other organizations in other parts of the country. Hopefully those folks will be setting the example for them. But they're losing the black vote. The Democrat Party is. Donald Trump has whittled away at it. They have realized that since the war on poverty hasn't changed. Their circumstances haven't gotten better. That they've been beholden to the federal dollar through the welfare system, and they're breaking away from it, thankfully. But now the Democrat Party needs a whole new demographic to vote for them because black people don't trust them anymore. nor should they. And so Kamala Harris, what's her ultimate goal for these 20 million people that have come across the border?
Pledge to you is that by the grace of God and hopefully with your support as well, when I am elected president, I will bring back that border security bill and I will sign it into law.
Which, by the way, is a road to amnesty for the people who came across the border and also increases the annual number of illegals that come across the border.
And do the work of focusing on what we must do to have an orderly and humane pathway to earn citizenship. And one of the biggest problems with failure to have a comprehensive plan for immigration is that we have not given them the pathway to earn their right to citizenship.
And what comes with citizenship? Voting. This is entirely about votes. This is all about votes. They're bringing in 20 million people who have nothing. Therefore, they load up these EBT cards. They give them a massive amount of money, tens of thousands of dollars. And they say, look, now you need food, you need shelter, come to us. Now they are immediately taking 20 million people and making them beholden to the federal government to do as they wish. Just as they did over a long period of time. Took them a while to get the black community into it. Now the black community is coming out of it. They're like, we need a whole nother demographic of people. Bring in Venezuelans and El Salvadorians and wherever else, Chinese, the people from the Middle East, people from Africa, wherever. Every country, it's all open. Come here with nothing, which is key, right? You got to be broke, you got to be poor, so that you can now become immediately beholden to the federal government. All you got to do is check next to the name with the D. That's all it takes. And the money will flow. Our money, our tax dollars. Meanwhile, the people that are suffering from Helene, well, they'll get $750, maybe. As I told you yesterday in my last episode, the mayor of that town, his daughter lost her entire house. She went to apply for the $750, and they said, we can get you $300. That's about all we can do. You didn't lose enough. It's crazy. It's crazy we have gotten here. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is Elon Musk. So this is a hard right turn. I like to make those hard right turns. This is it's at his launch event. Oh, this is so crazy. So this is, sorry for the audio on this one because it's somebody's cell phone recording, but it's a conversation between a guy at the Tesla launch event and Elon Musk's new AI robot, which he had a whole fleet of at this place. They were serving drinks. They were having conversations with people. Listen to this.
Optimus. People here today. It's insane. It's even talking. Say hi to my friend John.
John? Where's John?
Right here.
Oh, hello, John.
How are you?
How are you doing?
That's crazy. I'm talking to a robot. From San Jose. Probably from where you were born in Silicon Valley.
Wonderful. Where do you live in San Jose? Do you live in Almond Valley or do you live in Santa Teresa area?
No, I live in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos. Oh, wonderful. Very nice area.
Where do you live?
Beautiful hiking I hear out there.
There is. Where do you live?
I live in Palo Alto at the current moment.
Figures. Yeah, this is awesome.
That's where they train us. That's where we get our builds, and that's where we work with a wonderful group of people.
What's the hardest thing about being a robot?
Trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are. And that's something I try harder to do every day, and I hope that you will help us become that way.
Well, awesome. Nice to meet you, Optimus.
You as well.
Is Elon Musk going to usher in the end of the world? I mean, that's creepy, guys. It's so creepy. The conversation is so creepy. And how he, this is one that, here, let me maximize this so you can see it. So he's sitting here talking to people, having conversation. He's pouring drinks. He puts a cowboy hat on him. I just don't know, guys. I really don't. I have such mixed emotions about this stuff. Now, he had other things that he was releasing, such as the cyber. This was the cyber van, which is wild looking. So this is going to be, public transport, in the future. He had the cyber taxi, I believe, or robo taxi. I'm sorry, the robo taxi and the robo van. And these things are, I mean, they're unbelievable pieces. This is inside the robo van. It'll hold like 20 people. And so these will be public transport. You can hire them out. This essentially makes a vehicle that's, he said the taxi is going to be about $30,000. So you can buy a robo taxi and essentially turn it into a money-making asset. You can have an Uber and never have to drive an Uber car. Just have a fleet of these things driving around. I mean, it's getting a little too close to the movies that I grew up watching. Even in the design, I mean, the look of them is so, I'm thinking Tron or other stuff like that. It's just really, really weird. So yeah, either Elon Musk is, for every time that I think, I'm like, okay, this guy's a genius and he supports a lot of great stuff. When it comes to the First Amendment, he's been a big advocate of that. He's given us X, which is far better, obviously, than Twitter. We've got a less censorship. He's opening up a lot of great things, but then he comes out and starts showing AI-powered robots talking to his guests, and it's just weird. And of course, he pitches this as, you can get one for $20,000, and it can do anything. It can buy your groceries, fold your clothes, clean your house, be a friend. You can sit and have conversations with it. I mean, it's just really, really creepy. But I guess if anybody's going to be doing it, I would rather it be Elon Musk. I don't know. So the next thing we're going to watch, you guys tell me what you think. Is Elon Musk going to usher in the end of the world? Hit me up in the comments about that one, because that's a critical piece of info, and I would love to get your take on it. Next, we're going to go to one of my favorite people who, I say favorite. He's to a certain degree, but he's got some funny lines. Listen to this. This is pretty interesting.
Vice President Harris and some members of the media are complaining that people are asking hard questions about the Biden-Harris recovery to Hurricane Helene. They say it's a new conspiracy theory. I'll concede that we need some new conspiracy theories, but it's because all the old ones turned out to be true. Conspiracy theories up something like 37-0. Here are the facts. Helene was a monster storm. We saw it coming. The federal government had time to prepare. It wasn't prepared. We don't have nearly enough soldiers and military helicopters rescuing people. During Katrina, we had 20,000 soldiers and 350 military helicopters. A week after the storm in Appalachia, we had, I think, 7,000 soldiers and maybe 100 helicopters, and you especially need helicopters in a mountainous area. Senators Budd and Tillis are so frustrated, they've asked Vice President Harris and President Biden to put an active duty military leader in charge, but so far I don't think they've heard anything. Now, in the middle of all of this, the White House,
sir.
I was just going to say, in the middle of all this, the White House sends a FEMA representative on a national talk show on Sunday to say, stop with the hard questions. It's hurting the morale of the FEMA employees. You can't, even Jussie Smollett can't make this stuff up. I mean, most Americans who saw that interview, Shawn, thought, cry me a river. That's what we pay you for. Get your ass back to work and do your job. And
exactly. And, Alejandro Mayorkas was on making the waves around the internet because he came out and said, the online hate speech, the criticism is affecting the recovery efforts. So it's not because we're inept. It's not because our administration doesn't have their stuff together. It's because people are saying mean things on X about how they're responding. Now, I did my conspiratorial post yesterday. Mixed reviews on how that one was received, but he makes a good point. The point that I wanted to highlight from is that, conspiracy theories, they get launched out there and then they become true, and the problem is, a lot of these conspiracy theories, people just don't want to believe that this could happen. And my buddy Chuck, and I'll have him on to defend himself on this one. So Chuck, if you're watching this, I love you, buddy, but I told him about the weather manipulation and about the mines in North Carolina that the civilians didn't want to sell. They didn't want to sell their property, and it was all owned by BlackRock, the mining company, because they wanted the lithium deposits. And Then I talked about, again, about weather manipulation and how all these storms could be steered. And of course, yesterday I talked about Project Cirrus and how we were doing this back in the 40s and how this progressed to the Vietnam War, where we deluged certain areas of the Ho Chi Minh Trail with rain in order to prevent them from moving supplies and all that. And so he just says, boy, I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true. And I do too. However, the kind of the core message behind just this show in general is that I have so little faith and confidence in the federal government. I have so much certainty in the level of corruption that is developed in that federal government that everything has to be explored. We have to return a bit of skepticism to the federal government, as opposed to saying that they are our mommy and daddy who never lie to us and who never do the wrong thing and who are always right? That's not the case. And we've lost that skepticism. We have to return some of that skepticism, and we have slowly over the years had things divulged to us that we just have to bring out to the public. Let the public see that nefarious intent it's more the norm than it is a conspiracy or the exception. I mean, we know that they experimented on segments of our population with disease. That is confirmed fact, which we'll do other shows on that one. You're talking about fallible people who are consumed by power, greed, and money. It's a tale as old as time. This is why we have to build up our self-reliance, reliance on our community. Get back to things like the church and get back to things like neighborhood block parties or whatever, where you actually know the people who live next door to you, and don't consider the people that are just on your social media feed or the ones hitting you up in the comment section where it's not just your only friends. You got to get around those people. Physical contact with people, conversations with people. Get out of the phone and get back into real life. Those are the ones that when it actually hits the fan, those are the ones that you're going to be relying on, not the federal government, because the federal government does not have your best interest at heart. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Cutting this one just a little bit short, so I'm trying to keep it to that 30-minute time limit, but I truly appreciate it. If you guys like this, be sure to hit me with a like, hit me with a subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave comments below. I love you guys. God bless you. God bless America, and I'll see you next time.